What's up, everyone? It's Jordan. So about 2 weeks ago, in my last video, I talked about how I was breaking down my 29 gallon just due to some ongoing issues with it, and how I'm going to be insanely busy over the next couple months and not going to be able to give my tank the attention that it needs. So my plan was to break down the 29, which I did, sold everything out of it, and then my plan was to be on the lookout for like a 75 or something like that. Well, I didn't expect there to be a really good deal, within a couple days of breaking down the 29. So I actually found a guy that sold me this 75 gallon right there, which needs a little bit of cleaning up, but otherwise still in really good condition. That's just sitting on a workbench I have. But it came with this like aquarium or Marineland stand. And while people claim that they're rated, for 75 gallon tanks, I didn't really know much about this until I brought it home, and I realized that this is just a really, really shady design, because the tank actually sits on this, lip right here, and this is like, I don't even know what this is. This is like a 1x2 or something like that. Really small board, and it's like a 1/2 inch wide. And then this board right here is actually, let me see if I can see or show, sitting on a notch. Let me get some focus here. There we go. Sitting on a notch in this vertical board right here. So it's sitting on like a 1/4 inch of wood right there. And that's just how the whole frame is. And so there's just, some concerning things like there's a gap right there. Some of the wood is a little bit bowed, and obviously there's a good amount of like spills, because I put 3 coats of Rust-Oleum enamel oil-based paint down, and I thought I had cleaned it pretty well prior, and you can see the salt creep just pushing up through, so that's kind of concerning. And obviously the locks are, or not the locks, the hinges are very rusted. So I was like, I really don't feel comfortable putting between 700 and 800 pounds of weight on this stand. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go a little bit out of my comfort zone and build a stand. So I'm really bad with projects in regards to like documenting my progress along the way. So I figured this would be a good place to sort of stop while you can see what's going on. I'll link to the thread on reef2reef.com where I got the inspiration for this. This is actually a really common setup. And basically it's just, it's almost like the same thing as my workbench right there, except there's a frame underneath. And so with this, now the tank actually does sit on top of here, which that's resting on this 2x4, which goes all the way down. So that's a really significant amount of support right there. And there's actually 3 pieces in the corners. This board right here, and right here is what the frame is actually resting on, and then this is just a vertical like stabilizer. And there's like no play in this whatsoever. And it's obviously the same for all 4 corners, and then just another center brace right here just for side-to-side support, and then there's 3 pieces in the bottom for more support, and then just weight for the sump. So then the outside of it is just this kind of cheap 1/4 inch plywood that you can find at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. And then the doors I actually picked up. The 2 cabinet doors and the trim I picked up at a like Habitat for Humanity store. I paid $12 for all of it, so that's a pretty good steal, considering these cabinet doors are really solid. I just had to pick up the hinges, which aren't too expensive, so just hinges, and then the trim, which was really cheap. And that stuff, if you go to like Home Depot, Lowe's, you're looking at like $10 or so for a strip of that, depending on the quality and everything like that. So I am by no means a skilled, carpenter or whatever, but I do have some of the tools. I use my miter saw to make some of the angled cuts, like for the the corners, the 45-degree corners. But this, pretty much anyone can do this. If you're, if you have average like construction skills, I mean, I sat, I sat on here and laid across it, and that's 220 pounds of weight, and there was nothing in it. I mean, this thing is solid. So last thing I have to do really is just paint the interior. I'm gonna redo this board right here and get those corners a little bit tighter, and then just enamel paint just to protect the wood. And I'm probably gonna get one more piece of like casing or crown molding or something and put that up here around the corners, and probably have it come up a little bit to hide the plastic trim of the tank. So and one other thing about this is it is 35 inches tall, which is nice, because that way when you are standing in front of the tank looking at it, you really don't even have to squat down at all. I mean, it's just a much better viewing angle than a lot of the stands you see where you almost have to squat down to really see in the tank. It's not like viewing height, but it's better than some stands that I've seen. So this is almost done. Like I said, it just needs paint. And then next thing I'm going to do is move it into my house, fill up the tank. Well, I got to put sand in it, figure out my aquascape with the rocks, fill it up with water, and then look at some lighting, and then we'll go from there. So that's probably where the project is going to go on hold. Because like I said, I'm going on a short deployment, and when I get back, that's probably when I'll look into stocking the tank and everything like that. So if you have any questions, comments, whatever about the stand or the design, feel free to drop them below and I'll respond. Like I said, there'll be a link to the actual thread that I followed, to get the inspiration. And that's about all I got. So stay tuned, and if you like this project and you want to see what it turns into, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.